Welcome to Jaron Lukas Live, a channel on YouTube that actually makes you smarter while you watch it. Thank you for joining, and we're going to be covering a huge announcement that was made today by Impossible Meats, the Impossible Pork. I'm pretty effing excited about this one, as I have been buying Beyond and Impossible Meats pretty regularly, and I'm vegan 4 days a week for those of you who don't know out there. And so I just really miss my pork, and thankfully Impossible's coming to save me. So thank you for joining, and let's get right to it. I want to focus on this article that was in CNET today, and this is pretty big. This is going to talk about what we do and don't know about Impossible Pork at this point. It was just announced today at CES 2020 here in Las Vegas. And I'm also later in this video going to share with you a question. Will people eat it? And is this actually a pivot away from something that they just failed at, which is the title of this second article here, which is as rival Impossible Foods Beyond Meat surges, that as if you don't know, is their major competitor. Beyond Meats, we're gonna let the music go as we move into this episode so we can fully focus on the topic at hand. So Beyond Meat surges as Impossible Foods exits McDonald's contest. This is pretty big news that I want to really put some insight into this, because I think that it also sheds where Impossible Foods is going from a differentiation standpoint and what we can expect to see from them in the future. So Impossible Pork, what do we know and what don't we know? First of all, we know that it is currently being used in banh mi sandwiches, as you can see in that, and this char siu buns. What all of these articles tend to mention is just the huge consumption of pork in China. And if we can actually move a society, not just the US, but actually one like China, into more of these fake meats, that'll actually have a huge drastic impact on climate change, which I think anyone watching this video wants to see. So what do we know so far? The other faux meat, Impossible Foods, the brand behind last year's Impossible Burger 2.0 craze, captivated the attention today of CES 2020 by launching a plant-based pork replacement called Impossible Pork. They also go in this article into, livestock accounts for 14.5% of greenhouse gas emissions. I mean, I think that this is obviously one of the most obvious reasons why people are kind of entering this trend. Certainly in our household with my girlfriend and I, why we've moved into eating plant-based 4 days a week. And a little bit of background real quick is that Impossible Burger last year went into 7,000 Burger King locations across the US. And this is going to tie into what I believe is actually going to be their strategy going forward. Because in this other article we're about to go into as well, you're going to see how this all plays out. So they're in restaurants in the US, Hong Kong, Singapore, Macau. Hong Kong, very awesome city, under war right now pretty much. Singapore, also an awesome city. Macau, terrible, terrible place. Sorry if anyone in Macau is watching us right now, although looking at my analytics, I don't think that they are. But having grown up in Las Vegas, Macau is pretty much just like Las Vegas, but without any entertainment and a lot more prostitutes. So anyway, getting back to fake meat, shall we? We got these, we got going straight into this. What does Impossible Pork taste like? And CNET did a test today at CES, and they all unanimously said that it tastes like real pork, which if I had a bell, but we're just going to give this a huge round of applause here in my home studio for Impossible Pork, actually tasting like pork. I could not be more excited. And the article goes on to say somewhere down here that it's going to be released into 5 major cities in the US later this month, January 2020. So very exciting announcement here. Also, it is made of soy as the main protein, with sunflower and coconut oil serving as the fat source. Now, if we go down the article more, but real quick, let's just stop on this delicious looking picture here. That is something I want in my mouth right now. So moving into some of the health, stats that I think are pretty important here. So looking at this, a 4-ounce serving has 220 calories versus 350 for pork. If I remember correctly, the Impossible Beef was actually pretty equivalent. So it's cool to see that you can actually cut some calories here. And then where obviously I don't think any of us are going to be surprised, it has 13 grams for the fake version versus 32 grams of fat, saturated fat for real pork. That's a huge cut right there. And then protein is the same between the two. So that's amazing. And this is just like really big. 0 milligrams of cholesterol, whereas, regular pork has much more, 86 milligrams. And I think the only downside here is a lot more sodium, which I love salt. So I'm not complaining. We got pretty packaging. It's probably going to cost about $9. And, I'm going to answer a question for this article right now. Can I freeze it? The answer is yes. You can freeze it. So they leave off here, and they actually don't answer the real question of CNET doesn't answer what's next for Impossible Foods, and I'm going to tell you that right now. Going to this Investors Business Daily article that just came out 30 minutes ago. And this is talking about the other major announcement today in, we'll call it fake meat foods, which is that Beyond Meat, their stock price went up drastically today because Impossible Foods, the maker of Impossible Pork, has Impossible Foods just announced that they are no longer going to vie in this competition to get into McDonald's. And that's a really big deal, because what it tells us is that Beyond Meat is going to win. Beyond Meat is going to get into McDonald's. We're going to see a Beyond Big Mac, hopefully. We'll definitely see a Beyond Burger. And it also means that for Impossible Foods, their partnership with Burger King is also going to expand, which is a little sad for me because I'm not personally the biggest Burger King fan, but they are also in many other establishments as well. Now, the number one reason cited for backing out, which again, this is a really big deal. They have backed out of pretty much the biggest competition that fake meats may ever have. And they backed out because they can't handle the supply. And Impossible, the reason why we've been seeing a lot of Beyond Burgers, Beyond Beef in Whole Foods, Sprouts, pretty much a lot of major grocery stores, and we haven't been seeing Impossible Foods. The reason for that is that Impossible Foods hasn't been able to keep up with the demand. So they're focusing down, and what they're also doing is they're first to market with the pork. So we're about to see these two companies make very drastic. We have just seen them make a very drastic decision with, Beyond Meat really doubling down on beef. They're definitely working on pork as well, but with Impossible Foods being first to market with pork, they're going to continue to differentiate in that direction, and we're going to see them make better and better pork. Now, Beyond Meat does have their Italian sausage. Now, if you haven't seen this, I want to just give it a little shout out. We have Beyond Italian sausage. And by the way, for those of you who are joining me live today, thank you for catching the live stream. Be sure to give this a like in order to help this video increase in YouTube's algorithm and my channel in general. I'm doing daily live streams Monday through Thursday. And this is really a whole new direction for the channel in 2020. So we're going to be having a lot of cool progress in this channel going forward. I'm going to be backing off a little bit on the marketing, and I'm really just covering things that I think are fun. So this happens to be one of them. I love, in this case, let's just go into this right now. Maybe we'll even get a picture of the Beyond Italian sausage cooked. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this stuff, it might look a little foamier than normal sausage, but I promise you that their Italian sausage tastes just like the real thing and with no cholesterol. So there's a little tip for you today, but this is a big announcement. And what we saw today from Beyond Meat, which of course the competitor, is that their shares jumped 12.5% in stock trading today. So that means that people who are tracking these stocks think that this is a really big deal. Like, this McDonald's contract is going to be a big thing, but we're going to see Impossible, hopefully in the grocery store here in Las Vegas by the end of this month. I'm hoping we're one of the 5 cities. So thank you so much for joining. If you are not subscribed yet, make sure you do so now, because this is a live stream. You're probably catching the recorded broadcast right now, and you'll be notified of our live stream every day. The goal is to get to 100 people watching my live streams by June 1st, 2020. So help make that happen. Tell your friends about this show. And let me know in the comments if you, we have Anna. Sorry, I missed your message. I was going too deep into fake meats here. She says, I will try it, but not get obsessed with it just because it's made out of soy. Yeah, I got to agree with you on that. It sucks that that is the base product, which is also why I think that there's a lot of opportunity left for anyone who wants to start a business in these fake meats. I need a better name for this, but I think anyone who is thinking about starting a business in this general area, like, I've definitely been seeing different supermarket chains try out various brands. Most of them have sucked, unfortunately, but there are a few here and there that have been pretty good. These are, Beyond and Impossible are still the front runners. But if you think that you can create a better recipe, a lot of people are trying to not eat soy, as Anna said. Some people are also trying to not eat pea protein, which tends to be like the other major ingredient in these things. Then, and let's be honest, like, the Beyond Beef, which is the one that I get most often so far anyway, it doesn't quite taste like real beef. The secret there, if you are going to prepare some Beyond Beef patties at home, is you have to marinate them. Got to marinate them. So make sure you do that. Make sure you go buy some though, if you haven't already. They are really delicious, much healthier. And yeah, hopefully one of these companies or another brand will create another version, which is made out of kind of like a more like proven healthy protein source. But that'll be a topic for another video. And if you have any other videos you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. Give this video a like if you've been watching it this far. We're in this together, my friend. And until tomorrow, which will be our Wednesday video,